Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I think because my last video was so big, as it were, I'm scaling it right back in this video. I was in Dollar Tree the other day, and they now have chrome colors out that you can use on your nails. I picked up 4 colors. I've got the blue, a green, and then 2 pinks. One obviously much shinier and brighter than the other one, a little darker. And I thought what we would do is make some earrings, because I didn't want to do anything really too big, but I wanted to try these out to see how they would work in a mold. I'm going to be using the Light Wish Bright Purple along with these, and the sea blue. I also have, and again, I haven't tried any of these out. This is an eyeshadow, a glitter eyeshadow. I'm trying to think if I've seen them on YouTube videos or just in passing. And I can't tell you, if haven't seen it on YouTube, I can't tell you where I did see it, where people are now using these glitters, and they look like really thick, so I'm not sure whether I'd want to put those on my eyelids, because I would be concerned about getting pieces in my eye. But I'm sure, or perhaps it's like I said, I haven't tried this out, so let's open this up if I can. Yeah, isn't that tricky? So it's like, okay, now I don't know if there's a piece of tape on that, or I'm trying to open it the wrong way. I guess I should have tried that out before or is it the other side? Ah, it's the other side. Well, there you go. Anyway, let's see what these are like. I'll just see if I get a little bit on my glove. Okay, so it definitely feels like a paste of some sort. So I've got a little bit on there, and I'll just put a little bit on my wrist. It might be hard to see it because I've got of my tan, but yeah, so maybe. I mean, it seems to be sticking pretty good. And the other thing, I don't know about you, I don't wear makeup a lot anymore because I work from home. And I'm famous for putting makeup on my eyes and then rubbing my fingers because my eyelid gets itchy. So, but that kind of looks cool. I was kind of concerned about how that would go on. So we have that. I just thought I would share, because I kind of wanted to do something with this, but I'm not really 100% what I could use to put it on. So let me see what I've got over here in my stash of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to make butterfly earrings. I think we're only going to make 2 sets, because what I was thinking of doing was sort of mixing and matching colors. I was going to put 2 colors on one set of earrings and then 2 colors in the other set of earrings, and then I was going to use just one or the other color of the UV resin on one set and then the other set. And I'm noticing as I'm lifting up that I have some stuff on the inside of this, but we won't worry too much about that. So let's see what happens if I do this. So again, I haven't played with this. This is the first time playing with it, and we'll just put some down here because I'm not sure how I guess you could just pat it down on. Work a lot better on something that isn't slippery like silicone. Okay, well, I'd have to find a better way of putting this down, and I don't know if my gloves would do the trick or not, because again, they're slick. But let's get that cleaned off a little bit, because I don't want to forget to get it cleaned off, and I want to open up my container with my wet wipes, so I have those. So let's put a little bit on my finger, and let's see what happens if we try and do it that way. Well, that works a little bit better. Actually, if I just dab it, so if I put just dab it like that, and then just pounce it, that seems to be working. That's kind of cool. Okay. It'd be nice if I got some of the bigger pieces off of it. Cool. Well, we might have to make these as well, just because we can, right? So let me get a little bit more of that. I was just curious about it. That's why I bought it. And these cost me $1.50 each. And I thought for $1.50 we can have some fun, we can play, we can do something simple. And I was all over having something simple for my day. So let's get a little bit more. And then here's hoping that the resin can pick this up, no problem, because that would be very handy. And I don't know whether or not we could very carefully see about putting some of the powder on the chrome powder on top. I don't know, because again, I don't want to get my brushes messy. I'm trying to get it over so I can get it everywhere. So for those of you in Canada, did you have a nice long weekend? Monday was our civic holiday here, and our next holiday, and I believe you have it down the States, is the Labor Day weekend. If I'm not mistaken, that's both Canada and the US. Okay, let's just do a little bit more, kind of get it. Okay, so there we have it. It looks kind of nice on there. I'll just wipe it on one of these. Yeah, and it's going on there really easily too. I probably should wipe what's on my arm off so I don't forget about it. Actually, okay, so I'm going to say, based on my arm and getting, at least you'll maybe be able to see sparkles on my arm. I'll sparkle for a little while, and even more so when I'm out in the sun. Okay, so we've got that on there, and I guess I really don't need my gloves on for this part of putting on the colors. I'll just put them back on when I work with the UV resin. And these colors came with these brushes as well, which I thought was kind of cool. And it makes sense, right? These chrome colors are meant for your nails, but as I'm finding these days, for the most part, you can use stuff like this, you know, probably on your eyes as well. So let's get this off. Okay, so it truly is, it's a powder. I wasn't sure if it would be, yeah, like more of a solid powder. I may be dating myself, but again, it's meant for fingernails. So let's see how this goes, rubbing this chrome on here. I might as well take it off the lid, it's there anyway. So we'll just do some general blending here. Again, another one of those things that can just, tranquil. Just tranquil. So, and then once I get some of this done, then we'll have a look at it. I have other chrome products, and I've had them for quite a while. But again, like I said, I was in the Dollar Tree, and these products are sure you walk right in the door and they are right there. And it, yeah, I think I'll do the blue. Squirrel, shiny things get my attention. Not always a good thing that shiny things get my attention, but they do. That's a very intense blue, by the way. I just want to bring that up. Very intense blue. My hand out of the way so my light can, very intense. Okay, put some of that in. And I'm sure the more you put on, the deeper the color would come out. So I just want, and I think what I'm going to do when I'm done putting this in is I'm going to try and shake out any of the loose that might be in there. See if it comes out like mica powder when you get too much in. If you shake it, will it come out? Because I kind of like the color to be just on the top of the design and not right down onto the base of it. So I'm really kind of hoping. Now, It almost looks like it's been sucked up by a magnet there. So I'm going to just, well, that's not really working well, so I'll just take some and put it off to the side there. They're very pretty colors though, so far. And I'm trying to think, were there more colors? I bought 4, but I think there were maybe a couple other colors. I can't say for sure. And I'm guessing maybe too that, like anything else, different stores carry different things, which is helpful sometimes, and other times, oh, not so much. So see what I did? I was not paying attention. I was not paying attention. So now I've got blue mixed on top of the pink. I'm sure I'm not the only one to do that. Okay. And I'm just going to, we'll do those 2. And then I'll get the other 2 done. So I'll do this over here with the other 2 colors. And then I'll let you go and I'll finish up so you don't have to sit here and watch me. And then we'll come back when we put the UV resin on. The screen's really pretty too. I don't know about you. When I was first getting into resin, trying to find a really pretty deep green was a challenge. And now, of course, you can find them everywhere. I want to be really careful. I don't want to dump these all over the place. So let's see if I can keep the colors separate on this go around. I'm sure I can clean them if I wanted to. Yeah, that's really pretty too. And I get their chromes are meant for your fingernails, so you really want something that's going to stand out. Definitely come a long way with products than, you know, what we've had in the past, which is really nice. And I figured for $1.50, maybe we could make something really pretty and inexpensive. And I may not make both wings the same. By now, you know me well enough to know that I dare to be different and do things outside the box, because I can. And if I didn't have my own nails already done, I'd probably throw some onto my nails, but I was very fortunate because the last time I did my fingernails, sometimes the products stay on really well, and other times the stuff comes off way too easily. But this time they've managed, now it's probably been 2 or 3 weeks now since I've done them. And that's really nice that when you can do them and have the products stay on. All right. So I want to put a little bit more green on that because it's a very pretty color. And I guess if I couldn't get the color out, like if I throw them over, if I turn them over onto the mat and I don't get the color out, I could always use my small, really small brushes I've got to clean in between. So let's see if any of this will fall out. Doesn't always fall out with mica powder, does it? We got a little bit out, but really not much. So I might go through and clean those up just a little bit. So I think I'm liking this one a little bit more than that one, but we shall see. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to finish up these other 2 wings, and then we'll come back. I don't know that I want to put anything on top of these. I think we'll just leave them the way they are. And maybe to make a contrasting color, I'll use the purple on those ones. So stick around. I'll be right back. I did get both the wings now. All 4 of those are done. I took and went around the edges with one of these small little brushes. I was going to work on pulling some out from in between in here, and I decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I did try and clean up this far one a little bit on the outside here, but I was a little worried I was going to make more of a mess than not, so I've just decided to leave well enough alone. I did manage to keep the brushes separate when I did this side, which was great. So I think because of the colors we've got in here, I guess it's not really going to matter what we do. I mean, I could go with a totally different color, but my box of colors is on the floor away from me. So let's see, because we've got pink in there and the darker blue. Let's do the lighter blue in that. And as always, we always put our caps back on things so, you know, colors don't go flying and we end up with a real fiasco of colors. I just want to get those out of the way. And I should have these on their side. Again, it's one of those things you think about it, but you don't do it. And I'll be using my No Name UV light just to get these going. It is a sunny day here, and I'm probably going to end up taking these outside and letting them set up well. I feel this should cure no problem because I just feel these should cure no problem, regardless of the fact that I put chrome on these. And hopefully I don't end up with too many air bubbles. I do dislike air bubbles. I will be totally honest with you as you see them come up, right? And I believe these are the opaque colors. So I think we're going to do this sort of in stages. We'll do a couple of coats just because we can. And I'm going to end up having to very carefully move the resin around because I don't want to take the resin off of the sections where I've put the chrome. So I'm going to have to do that very carefully. And I always find too, when you have something that's sort of got ridges, that I mean, with the way the resin sits, I'm going to have to work it over to the sides. And I'm almost wondering if it wouldn't be easier if I just took the lid off of this and randomly poured. But yeah, I don't want to waste my resin either by dumping too much in at one time, just because we do want this to cure properly. This is a pretty color. These are going to take a little bit. Now we also could have done these two-tone if we'd wanted to, but just set it with one. So I'm just going to turn this around a little bit so I can see better, and maybe put a little bit more blue on this one, and then we'll sort of spread it around because I don't want it too thick. That going there. Okay. And while that's sort of leveling itself out a little bit, we'll get the purple going on these ones, which have more little bumps and whatnot in them. Come on. No air bubbles, people. Yeah, I like, it's always nice when you remember, like, oh yeah, put it on its side so you can help alleviate the air bubbles, and then you forget. It's like my Lazy Susan, isn't it? Never have that around when I need it either. I was going to try and very carefully sort of drag that over. That wasn't going to work very well for me. So, is it a nice day where you are? We're still getting interesting weather here in Ontario. And as I understand it, there's been some flooding down in Florida. Now, as I'm videotaping this, This is being taped ahead of time. As you know, with me, I get ahead of myself. But as I understand, there's flooding because of, is it Hurricane Debbie in Florida. So I hope no one's affected too badly by that. Okay, I should probably bring that over to this side so I can see it better. So I think what I'm going to do, so you don't have to sit here, because this is painstaking work. If you've done this and worked with, well, resin in general, right? Trying to get it into all the nooks and crannies of things, you want to take your time with it. And I don't know about you, but one of the things I find too is when I'm working with more so the UV resin than the two-part epoxy is, and I mean, I'm not saying the two-part epoxy doesn't do this as well. It climbs the sides, which means you end up having to trim things down, which drives me a little bit nuts. But I don't think you really want to sit here and watch me, although it is a very relaxing thing to be the one doing it. And I know that you can fast forward through this if this doesn't float your boat. I get that. I think I've mentioned before, I'm not watching near the YouTube videos I used to. Before I started doing my own channel, I watched a lot of videos. And now, you know, they're very infrequent. I might watch one a day. It's probably rare for me to sit and watch, you know, 4 or 5. Like I can't do it anymore. I guess because I'm working on my own, I just find it too hard. So I do have a curious question for you while you're sitting here watching me. Are any of you who have a YouTube channel, do you have enough subscribers that you're able to monetize your channel? I've been given the opportunity to do it. YouTube has sent me sort of, okay, now you can do this kind of idea. And I don't know about you. If you have monetized, I am very curious to know what you think of it, if you're doing it. For me, I read through their paperwork that they sent, you know, here are the directions, here's what, you know, is going on, and so on and so forth. And I found it very sort of, part of it confusing. And the other part, it was like, it seems like there's too much involved, and is it really worth it? And not that I don't want to, because yes, I would like to. It was part of the reason why I started the channel. But I'm just wondering if it's worth it. So if anyone has monetized and does not mind sharing their thoughts about it, I would appreciate that in the comments below. If you know anyone who has, and you know, they'd be willing to, you know, tell you what their experiences are, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. I haven't sitting on the fence with it and wondering if it's worthwhile for me to do it. So I'm just, I thought I would throw that out there and ask. And if you don't mind letting me know, I'd appreciate it. And I totally get it if you don't want to let me know. So there, we're almost done this one. It does look like I have some air bubbles in here. And I might have to work at getting those up very carefully. Again, I don't want to scrape the chrome off of the wings where I've got it. So I'm going to let you go because you seriously don't need to watch me do this. And I think I'll do both colors, or maybe I'll go get a different color for this pair. But I'm going to get them all done, get them all ready to be cured, and then we'll do the first cure together, and then I'll fill them up some more. And then I think once they're done, then I will come back. So I'll see you shortly. We're back again. Okay, so I have got my UV resins in. I decided to get out the lemon yellow to use on the bottom blue. I did my best to get out the air bubbles. I was more concerned about the ones in between the colored spots than I really was about if there were any sitting on top. I didn't want them down inside the veins and whatnot. So I think I've done a pretty good job. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to quickly, with holding this UV lamp up above, as I usually do, we'll give it sort of a 60-second cure, and then we'll work on doing it again. And as I've mentioned in the past, I do this because this resin tends to get rather warm. I find sometimes, depending on the lamp you're using, and it can, like, I just don't like the way it cures. I think when it comes to UV, I feel anyways, that it's better not to sort of hit it hard and fast with the UV lamp. I think it's better to take it slower. Some people may disagree with me. I don't know. I just find it's better for my work. But it's totally up to you. Again, I was thinking of Tim Holtz on the weekend, and I thought, you do you. When it comes to life, when it comes to your artwork, you do you. Because you know what's going to work best for what you want to do. And I think it's important that you follow what is best for you. I've gotten into the habit now where I am more than happy to offer thoughts to people. I don't call it advice, I call it thoughts. And I look at it from the perspective of, if you want to follow my thought, great. If you don't, I'm totally cool with that as well. Because I don't know your life, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know circumstances and situations as well as you do. So I offer thoughts and say, if you can use them, great. If it doesn't fit who you are, then hey, that's totally cool with me. I wish people, when I was growing up, had been offering me thoughts, not you have to's, or you should do, and then not really giving myself a chance to decide what was best for me, just feeling that other people knew better, and other people don't always know what's best for you. So I just tell people, here are my thoughts, do what you want with them. So let's have a look-see. Now it almost looks as if, and I don't know if it's because there was too much resin in there. So let's just tap the side. Okay. That's hard. That's hard. So a minute's done well, but it's not all I'm going to give it. It just looks like I've got some indentations in it a little bit, and that's part of the reason why I don't like to fast cure it. And I don't know whether it's because some of the chrome has come up, but we'll give this 120 seconds now. And then I think what I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to let you go again. I am going to put another layer of the colors on. And I think what I might do is take it outside, because I do believe, well, it's kind of cloudy, kind of sunny out there. But take them outside. Like, I'll cure them, like give them a 60-second cure in here, just so they have a set. And then take them outside and let the sun do the rest. And as I normally do as well, once I take them out of the mold, I'll flip them over and cure the other side as well. Just because I think that would be the smart thing to do. But I think the resin is clear enough at this stage that it's going to be okay, but because I want to put a sort of another layer on top, I really want to make sure they're cured properly. But I'm liking the colors, and they look, I don't know if you've noticed, but under the UV light the colors are even more dramatic, which is really kind of interesting to me. But yeah. Now I know some people may have put a black backing on these, but I don't know. I haven't got into that whole putting black on the back of everything yet. Although it does have I will admit, it has a very dramatic effect. which makes it totally understandable why people are doing it. It's just not something I've really gotten into just yet. So maybe we're going to have to do a piece where I actually fold and do black on the back of something. And probably with these chromes, it would probably look pretty cool. So I'll have to see about doing that in an upcoming video. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, like I say, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but okay. There's divots in here, and again, I don't know why. Whether I missed getting enough resin in some spots, but as I say, I'm going to put another coat of UV resin on this, which will then fill in those little crevices I have and top up the wings. I'll get it all set. We'll come back. We'll take them out of the mold and we'll see how they look. See you in a bit. I was really, really glad to get my hands out of my gloves for a few minutes. I took these outside. I had cured them for approximately, what was it, 120 seconds, maybe a bit more with the lamp, and then I took them outside. And I flipped them over. And when I say that, I flipped the mold over. Now, one thing I do notice with UV resin, and it's not specific to Light Wish, it's not specific to J. Diction or any of the other brands, but what I find is when I use a UV resin and I get it curing, that it tends to pull away from the edges. When I was putting my second coat of product on, I could see it had pulled away, and I thought, no, I'm pretty sure that I got this around all the edges, but it must be as it heats, it contracts. And when you're working with, something that's got the shapes on this, if it, you first coat it shrinks, then your next coat doesn't, or it gets down the sides, it kind of takes away from the piece. So that's what I have to admit, that's just one of the things I'm not fussy about when it comes to UV resin. And when you're working with a two-part epoxy, because of the amount of time it takes for it to cure, it wouldn't do that. And I guess also the fact that you're pouring, right up to the top, so it's not being done in stages. Anyways, I had noticed that with this, and I thought, oh, that's one of the things I don't like. So my purple ones I'm not sure of, because I did end up getting the second coat of resin right over to the edges, even though there were spots where it had pulled away. So how those cured, I'm not really sure. But yeah, I had seen it with the yellow one, and I went, oh, and the others had done it as well. But anyway, one of my quirks, or that I find with the UV resin, and it's got to be because it's contracting as it's setting, and maybe doing it gradual is a better thing, or if you could just pour it all at once, that would help, because it would all contract at once. Okay, let's get these out and see how they look on the other side. And I did let these cool down a little bit before I know, I'm looking at my glove. I just want to make sure I'm not getting any on the sides. Like there's no that's dry on the sides. It should be. Okay. There's one of them. Now I do have some air bubbles. I wasn't completely out of the woods with that. And if you can just bear with me for a moment, I just want to get something to put these on, just so you can see them better. But the chrome's looking nice on them. And I'm thinking they'll probably look nice in the sunlight, with it bouncing off my hand out of the way. Always wondering if I've got my hands in the way. Now, this one, I think it's because it's got all the little itty-bitty spots in it, that you can get more air bubbles. And my right up here at the top isn't perfect. I might have to add some clear UV to that one. See if this one did better. Yeah, that one did. I think it did better. It's almost looking like they've got one of their indents really close up to the top of that, but too, it could be partially the user over here that isn't getting things just right when she's doing it. So I won't. Oh, that's pretty. And I think of that. Not bad, eh? And even if you can't see the pieces, like there's a heart that's under one of those, the star came out okay. But you know what? It's still pretty, and the sun, the light, whatever, will still catch it. And the yellow helps to make that pop really well. And I got hair or something. Oh, it's still there. It's clinging to me. I don't know whether it was, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so there we have it. They make these chrome colors are very pretty. Very pretty. Just move them aside. Make sure they're well in your view. I think I'm going to switch these two around. Doesn't really matter. You'll put them on however you put them on, right? So I did end up with some air bubbles. I think these guys in the middle were the ones that I had, because I have an air bubble right there. And I think, but I'm not 100% sure if I have one right in here. Yeah, this one I think it's this one I'm gonna have to fix up where the hole is to put the jump ring through. But all in all, not bad. The last thing I'm going to do with them is I will put them in my Let's Resin UV under in that light where it does both sides of it, so that they can, you know, get a really nice hard finish to them. I might still take them and put them outside again just because I can. But yeah, not too bad. It's hard with the yellow ones unless you tilt them. And can you see, like when they're laying flat, they look really boring. It doesn't look like there's anything to them because you can't see the shape of the wing. It's when you lift them up. So something I might consider doing with these yellow ones is getting a marker and, you know, going in at least in the big pieces so you can make out what they are, because it's a shame not to really be able to see the definition like you can in the pink and the purple and the blue ones. I'm obviously much more defined, and the yellow ones would have been too had I used the chrome. So I'm not sure whether I would use this again for something like this, or just in general, or maybe I'll just wear it myself now that I know it'll stick to my skin really well. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was cool to try out the chrome colors, nail chrome colors that I picked up at Dollar Tree. Them and Dollarama I get mixed up, but it's nice that Dollar Tree is carrying so much more. The store I go to now is new. It's been there for about the last 6 months, and they're starting to get some more things in, and different things than what I'm used to from the store I was going to. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Comment on what you think about them. Let me know about your experiences with UV resin if you find that they do tend to pull away from the sides of the mold. Again, I think it's just because the product is getting heated up and it contracts because of that. But I am curious to know if you've had that issue, and if you haven't, maybe, yeah, what are you doing that's different from me? And I think the other thing you know what, I struggle with this with both UV and two-part epoxy is getting things the same depth, because these two are not the same thickness. Anyway, enough about that. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for we'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.